Think the humble 22 long rifle is just for backyard plinking? Think again. In 2025, a handful of 22 long rifle rounds are rewriting what's possible with rimfire ammo. We're talking record speeds, massive terminal effects, and designs so clever they make you question everything you thought you knew about rimfire power. This is a countdown of the 10 most shocking 22 long rifle rounds flying under the radar in 2025, ranked by limited runs, oddball designs, and performance loads that push the envelope of what a rimfire can do. Let's get started. Number 10, Aguila Sniper Subsonic. When most shooters think of subsonic 22 long rifle, they usually imagine weak, slow-moving rounds best suited for plinking cans in the backyard. But the Aguila Sniper Subsonic flips that idea completely. It launches a massive 60-grain lead bullet, the heaviest in 22 long rifle projectile, commercially available at around 950 feet per second. That's below the sound barrier, which means it stays whisper quiet, especially when paired with a suppressor. But don't mistake silence for softness. Thanks to its extremely high sectional density, this round hits like a brick. In ballistic gel tests, it routinely penetrates 12 inches or more, outperforming many lighter, faster rimfire loads. It doesn't fragment or tumble. Instead, it pushes deep, creating a clean, devastating wound channel by sheer momentum alone. That makes it perfect for pest control, small game hunting, or any application where discretion and stopping power are both critical. But there's a catch. That long, heavy bullet needs to be properly stabilized. Standard twist rate barrels, usually 1:16, struggle with it. You'll need something like a 1:9 or 1:10 twist barrel to unlock its true potential. In those setups, accuracy improves dramatically and the round transforms into a consistent, hard-hitting tool. It also cycles surprisingly well in semi-automatics, even in short-barrel rifles where many subsonics choke. Combined with its quiet report, reliable function, and impressive penetration, the Aguila Sniper Subsonic shows just how much raw force a rimfire round can deliver when it's built to break expectations. It may not break velocity records, but it redefines what stealthy 22 bullets can do in the field. Number 9, Federal Punch 22 long rifle. At first glance, this round looks pretty basic. No crazy color tips, no dramatic shapes, just a simple flat-nosed bullet. But that's exactly what makes it deceptive, because the Federal Punch 22 long rifle is anything but ordinary. It was designed with one thing in mind, making rimfire viable for personal defense, and it actually pulls it off. Federal loads it with a 29-grain nickel-plated flat-nosed bullet, and this little thing moves fast. You're looking at around 1,650 feet per second from a rifle barrel and more than 1,000 feet per second even from compact pistols. That kind of speed isn't just impressive for rimfire, it's enough to meet the FBI's minimum gel penetration standards, something most 22 long rifle rounds fail to do. It doesn't rely on expansion like typical hollow points. Most rimfire hollow points struggle to open up at low velocities, especially out of compact pistols. Federal went in a different direction and focused entirely on deep, straight-line penetration. In testing, the Punch regularly slices through 12 inches or more of ballistic gel. Even with layers of heavy clothing in the way, it stays on course and doesn't tumble or veer off path. Another reason it feeds well? The nickel plating. That slick surface reduces drag inside the chamber and along the feed ramp, making this one of the most reliable 22 long rifle rounds you can load in a semi-auto handgun. no nose deformation, no sticky failures, just clean cycling and consistent ignition. Federal also uses a low-flash, clean-burning powder, which helps with visibility and keeps your firearm cleaner over longer sessions. And for pocket pistols like the LCP-2, Light Rack, or Ruger SR-22, it performs like a dream. Accuracy stays tight, and malfunctions are rare, even in guns that normally choke on bulk rimfire. It might not have the stopping power of a 9mm, but for those who carry a .22 for medical reasons, recoil sensitivity, or as a deep concealment backup, the Federal Punch offers the kind of reliability and terminal performance you'd usually expect from a much bigger cartridge. Number 8. Winchester Super X PowerPoint. The Winchester Super X PowerPoint has earned a reputation for being one of the most consistent and devastating hunting loads in the .22 long rifle world, and is still going strong in 2025. It fires a 40-grain soft point bullet at around 1,280 feet per second, landing right in the sweet spot for accuracy, energy, and controllable recoil. But what makes it stand out is its bullet design. That exposed lead tip isn't just old school, it's engineered to expand in a controlled, uniform way. On impact, it mushrooms out, creating a wide wound path without fragmenting or over-penetrating. In ballistic gel, the PowerPoint expands to nearly double its diameter while keeping enough weight to push through 10 to 12 inches deep. That's why it's a go-to for small game hunters. Squirrels, raccoons, even foxes drop cleanly when hit with this round. It's also incredibly versatile. Whether you're running a bolt action, a lever gun, or a semi-auto rifle, this stuff cycles like butter. And thanks to Winchester's consistent powder charges, you don't get those weird flyers or inconsistent groups that cheap plinking rounds often deliver. Bottom line, if you want proven terminal performance without sacrificing accuracy or reliability, Super X PowerPoint remains a serious contender. Number 7. Fiocchi Hyperformance Hunt .22 Long Rifle. This round doesn't get nearly enough attention, but it absolutely deserves a spot in the top 10. The Fiocchi Hyperformance Hunt is one of those most underrated game-dropping rimfire rounds on the market in 2025. Built for accuracy, expansion, and clean kills, it bridges the gap between traditional hollow points and more exotic fragmenting rounds. It launches a 40-grain tipped hollow point at about 1,200 feet per second, which might not sound earth-shattering, but it's what that polymer tip does that makes the difference. On impact, the tip drives back into the lead core, forcing rapid and consistent expansion. It's like a mini big game bullet designed for squirrels and varmints. In gel test, it opens up fast and maintains a wide wound cavity while still pushing deep enough to guarantee a clean drop. Unlike ultra-fragile loads that explode on the surface, this one keeps going. Perfect for small game hunters who care about both accuracy and humane kills. Another bonus is consistency. Fiocchi's manufacturing has stepped up big time in recent years, and the high-performance line runs smooth in both bolt-action and semi-autos. For anyone targeting rabbits, raccoons, or general varmints, this round flies true and hits hard, and most shooters still don't know it exists. Number 6. Norma ECO Power-22. When most people think .22 long rifle, they don't think environmentally friendly, but Norma flipped the script with the ECO Power-22, a lead-free copper polymer round that doesn't just go green, it goes fast. At its core is a 24-grain copper polymer bullet engineered to move fast and fragment reliably, clocking in at a staggering 1,700 feet per second. This thing enters near hypervelocity territory. That kind of speed from a rimfire creates a devastating energy transfer, even without traditional expansion. It's especially useful on smaller critters like squirrels, birds, and rodents. Anything where quick, clean takedown is the goal. Its fragmented behavior makes it a safe option around sensitive areas. Think barns, tool sheds, greenhouses, or even suburban yards. If it hits soft tissue, it shreds. If it hits hard surfaces, it breaks apart, reducing the risk of dangerous ricochets or over-penetration. That alone makes it a smart pick for pest control where surroundings matter. Thanks to its lead-free copper polymer blend, the ECO Power-22 also runs clean. You won't foul up your barrel as quickly, and semi-autos tend to stay functional longer with less buildup. This can be a big deal if you're running hundreds of rounds through something like a Ruger 1022 or a suppressed pistol, especially in training or varmint eradication sessions. And while many ECO rounds suffer from inconsistency, Norma avoided that trap. Their tight manufacturing tolerances ensure that shot-to-shot performances stay incredibly stable. If you want a fast, clean, and surprisingly destructive rimfire round that thinks outside the brass box, the ECO Power-22 might be the sleeper pick of 2025. Number 5, CCI Velocitor. When you hear CCI, your brain probably jumps to mini-mags, and for good reason. But hiding just behind the spotlight is the CCI Velocitor, a round that pushes the limits of what standard .22 long rifle can do without crossing into exotic ammo territory. The Velocitor fires a 40-grain gilded hollow point at around 1,435 feet per second. That's serious speed for a full-weight bullet. Most hypervelocity rounds shave weight to get that kind of speed, but CCI kept the payload heavy and gave it enough juice to match or beat lighter competitors. The result, you get deep penetration and real expansion in soft targets. In ballistic gel, the Velocitor consistently mushrooms and drives 12 inches or more with a controlled classic hollow point effect that small game hunters love. Rabbits, raccoons, and even coyotes drop fast when this hits them. It also cycles flawlessly in most semi-autos, and that's where it really earns its stripes. While some high-performance loads stumble in picky guns, the Velocitor runs smooth, accurate, and consistently making it a fan favorite for those who want real-world lethality in a rimfire package. For hunting, defense, or just flexing what a .22 can really do, the Velocitor is a sleeper powerhouse. Number 4, CCI Stinger. The CCI Stinger is a legend in the rimfire world, and in 2025 it's still one of the most shocking .22 long rifle rounds you can get your hands on. This is the round that makes you double-check your chronograph and your ears because it sounds and feels like something way beyond your typical plinker. It fires a 32-grain copper-plated hollow point at an eye-watering 1,640 feet per second. That's right. It's screaming fast, and while the bullet is lighter than standard, the velocity gives it enough energy to fragment violently on impact. In small game hunting, that translates to explosive terminal performance. Think squirrels flipping off branches and varmints dropping mid-step. But it's not just the speed that makes the Stinger special. The casing is longer than typical .22 long rifle brass, and the bullet is seated differently to maintain standard overall length. That means it works in most semi-autos without a hiccup. However, be aware a few match chambers or precision barrels might not love the extended case. Still, if you want a round that makes your .22 rifle feel like it's punching above its weight class, the Stinger is it. Fast, flashy, and devastating. It's a rimfire classic that refuses to fade. Number 3, ELEY Force .22 long rifle. You don't usually hear match grade and high velocity in the same sentence, but ELEY Force proves you absolutely can have both. Designed for shooters who want top-tier precision without giving up stopping power, this round walks the tightrope between target accuracy and field-ready lethality. It launches a 42-grain round nose projectile at around 1,200 feet per second. That's not breaking speed records, but it's right in the pocket for deep penetration, stable flight, and energy retention over distance. That extra bullet weight gives it a real punch, especially against denser targets like raccoons or larger varmints where lighter rounds might come up short. And here's where ELEY's reputation really shines. Those rounds are made using the same precision machinery as their Olympic-level target ammo. That means you're getting tight tolerances, perfectly consistent powder charges, and flawless case geometry. Every round feeds smooth, burns clean, and hits where it's supposed to. If you've ever struggled with inconsistent groups using cheaper ammo, you'll feel the difference with ELEY Force immediately. It's not designed to expand or fragment, and that's by design. The round stays intact, cuts cleanly through soft tissue and penetrates reliably through bone or heavy muscle. That makes it a rare .22 you can trust for both varmint control and defensive use when expansion isn't necessary. Where it really excels, though, is versatility. Want to plink steel at 100 yards? No problem. Need to drop a possum raiding your chicken coop? It's got the energy and precision for that, too. And if you're running a suppressed rifle or pistol, the consistent velocities and tight tolerances help avoid cycling issues that plague other subpar high-velocity rounds. It doesn't get the flashy marketing, but ELEY Force is the secret weapon for shooters who want the best of both worlds. Number 2, Remington Yellow Jacket. If there's one .22 long round that acts like it's got something to prove, it's the Remington Yellow Jacket, and in 2025 it's still one of the most aggressive performers in the rimfire category, and every time you pull the trigger, you'll understand why. The Yellow Jacket fires a 33-grain truncated hollow point bullet at a scorching 1,500 feet per second. That's deep into hypervelocity territory. You get a flat trajectory and quick energy transfer, which makes it deadly effective on anything from backyard pests to more serious varmint threats. But speed is just part of the equation. It's what that velocity does on impact that really matters. When this round hits soft tissue, it expands fast and fragments hard. The truncated cone shape is designed for rapid energy dump, creating a chaotic wound cavity that drops targets quickly and decisively. In gel tests, the fragmentation is wild, with multiple shards spreading outward while the core pushes deeper. Small game like squirrels and rabbits drop. The Yellow Jacket delivers the kind of explosive terminal effect that's more common in centerfire loads, all in a rimfire package. Now, here's something most people miss. The truncated bullet design isn't just for performance, it also affects feeding. While the Yellow Jacket runs well in most semi-automatics, that blunt tip can occasionally nosedive if your feed ramp isn't polished or your mag springs worn out. Keep your gear in good shape, and this round feeds surprisingly well given how aggressive it is. Also worth noting, this stuff is loud. That hypervelocity crack might catch you off guard. If you're used to standard .22 loads, it's not suppressor friendly and it's not subtle. For those moments where you want max power, rapid expansion, and unforgettable performance, the Yellow Jacket delivers every time. It's a rimfire round with teeth, and if your goal is fast, loud, and lethal, this is the one to load. Number 1, CCI Quiet-22 Segmented HP. It might not be the loudest or the fastest, but the CCI Quiet-22 Segmented Hollow Point might be the most deceptive .22 long rifle round in existence. In 2025, it continues to shock shooters who expect quiet to mean weak. Spoiler alert, it isn't. This 40-grain segmented hollow point moves at only 710 feet per second, making it incredibly quiet even with a suppressor. But here's the twist. Upon impact, the bullet breaks into 3 sharp fragments, each veering off slightly to create multiple wound channels. That's a brutal surprise coming from a round that sounds more like an air rifle than a firearm. What it lacks in speed, it makes up for in clever engineering. Those segments cut through soft tissue efficiently, delivering devastating terminal results on pests or small game, especially at close range. And because it's so quiet, it's a favorite for backyard varmint control or stealthy pest work on rural properties. Another perk, its mild recoil and report make it great for new shooters or anyone who wants maximum control with minimal blast. But don't mistake it for a novelty. The Quiet-22 Segmented HP is a surgical tool hiding in plain sight. Quiet, yes. Harmless, not even close. And that wraps up our countdown of the most shocking .22 long rifle rounds you didn't know existed in 2025. Rimfire loads that are rewriting what this humble cartridge can really do. Some might already be in your range bag, while others are still flying under the radar for now. But choosing the right .22 long rifle isn't just about velocity or hype. It's about performance, precision, and understanding how each round fits your setup and your mission. If you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned. We've got more real-world gun and ammo breakdowns coming your way.